We'll close up all of these layers and go up to our source files. And in source files, you'll find some pre-comps. Inside the pre-comps, there's already a yellow flag made from some shape layers. I'll simply drag this down into our composition. Moving into the comp window, we can see that the yellow flag is only 5 seconds versus the 8 seconds that we have for our library movie. To lengthen this, we'll simply apply time remapping on a Mac using Command-Option-T or on a PC using Control-Alt-T to invoke time remapping. I'll simply drag the end of the layer out and drag the keyframe to match. Next, I'll go back to our New York City library movie. With the layer selected, you'll see that the tracker controls are still grayed out. This is because we actually need to go back to our New York City library layer window in order to get these tracker controls active again. I'll navigate back to the layer window, and now we can see that all the tracker controls have come back. Now, down underneath the motion target options, we'll edit the target. By default, After Effects is going to choose the topmost layer in your timeline. Because we've added the yellow flag pre-comp, it's automatically choosing the yellow flag as our target for the data. This means that After Effects is going to apply all of this tracking data into the layer for the yellow flag. Now, if the yellow flag isn't what you wanted, you can always choose a different layer from this pull-down menu. It just so happens that this is the one that we want, so we'll hit OK. Once we have the target selected, go down to the menu and select Apply. Clicking on Apply will bring up Apply Dimensions, either X and Y by default, or we can use X only or Y only. In this particular track, because the camera moves up and down as well as from left to right, it's important that we choose X and Y so that our track data will accept both the X and Y dimensions of our attach point. We'll click OK here and apply all of that data to our flag. This will automatically bring us back to our composition window, and we can see now that our flag layer has been tracked using the track position of our tracker, and those keyframes have been applied to the position of this layer. Because the tracker has been applied just to the position parameter of this layer, this allows me to modify all of the other parameters without affecting the position. So here, I'll select the yellow flag again and make sure that I don't have the New York City library movie selected. I'll use F2 on the keyboard to deselect all, then select the yellow flag, then open up the parameter for scale as well. I can hold down Shift and type the letter S to reveal scale while still leaving the position and time remapping keyframes open. I can click and drag to change the scale of the flag to taste, but it's still not in the position that I want it to be in. What I want to have is the flag on the corner of the pedestal next to the lion's foot. In order to reposition this, I can't move position. By moving the position of this keyframe, I'll move the position of the layer just for this frame only. Instead, what I want to do is modify the anchor point. So I'll type A on the keyboard to reveal the anchor point properties. Now here I can scrub and drag so I can offset the anchor point. We know that by offsetting the anchor point, we're modifying the effect of those position keyframes, and in doing so, creating an offset for our yellow flag. I'll simply move it over a little bit so that it looks like it's now on the corner of this pedestal where the lion's sitting. Once this is set, I'll create a duplicate for the layer by simply using Command-D. On a PC, I'll use Control-D. Again, the data should be fairly similar, but I need to change the scale in order to make it look like the second flag is on the back part of the same pedestal. I'll type S to open up the scale and scale this down a bit. Again, I'll type A for the anchor point modification and slide this over a little bit and slide it down into place. In order to change the color of the flag so that they're not both exactly the same, I may want to add an effect. So with F3, I'll bring up my effects window for this layer. Previously, I've gone up to the effects pull-down window and chosen the effect from the list of effects here. However, in the advanced way to choose an effect, I'll simply hover over the effects control window, then either using control-click on a Mac or right-click on a PC, I'll get the same heads-up display as if I had gone to the Effect pull-down window and then chosen the effect from there. Here I'll choose Color Correction and choose a simple Hue and Saturation adjustment. Now After Effects has placed the Effects control panel next to the project pane, so I'll just simply move this over on top of the same area so they show up as tabbed panels rather than side by side. Now I can see the second flag and change the hue by simply rotating the master hue for that second flag. With that modified, I'll just hit 0 on the number pad to create a quick RAM preview. During the RAM preview, you'll note that the flags are now locked to the pedestal with the lion. However, the blue flag is above the yellow flag. The reason for that is that these two flags are 2D layers, and the blue flag is on top of the yellow flag layer. First, I'll rename this layer to Blue Flag and move it down below the layer for the yellow flag. Scrubbing in the timeline and pressing F2 to deselect all of the layers, I can now see that the yellow flag is on top of the blue flag, and the blue flag and the yellow flag are both tracking to the lion pedestal.